So what we're going to talk about with Amin today, because Amin is one of the rookies of the year when it comes to this YouTube content, I figured we'll gear this whole show around the rookies. So this year's NFL draft class has been one of the highly touted draft classes. So what we're going to do is go through and kind of give our projections as far as who we believe are going to be the best this season at multiple different positions. So we got to start out with the king of all kings, which is the quarterback position. So, Amin, who do you believe out of the rookie quarterbacks from this year's draft is going to have the biggest season? And what do you consider a big season, and how are you justifying your answer?
Now, what I consider a big season is a rookie quarterback, who plays the most games, who wins his team the most games, and who potentially could take his team to the playoffs.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say Justin Fields. Right off the bat, I know my answer. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson, because both of those guys, they don't have the best teams around them. While Justin Fields has a pretty darn good team around him, he has a pretty darn good defense. Roquan Smith, who's a top 4-5 linebacker in the league. He has Khalil Mack, who's a top 10 pass rusher in the league. That defense is stacked. He has good receivers in Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney, who's a really good star, who I remember last year, who burned Jalen Ramsey on one play. So he has a pretty stacked team around him. The Bears invested in their offensive line in the draft. And I say Justin Fields mainly because I feel like Justin Fields has the talent to take his team to the playoffs. And I feel like he is going to play this season because Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's jobs are on the line. And Andy Dalton isn't going to take you to the playoffs. I feel like Justin Fields will have a better chance of taking you to the playoffs, unlike Andy Dalton. So I feel like they're going to start Ryan. I think they're going to start Justin Fields, and he's going to play most of the games of the season. And I think he's going to take Bears to the playoffs, especially considering how open the NFC North is. The Packers, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Packers. The Vikings, let's see how well they do. They didn't do good last year. And the Lions, obviously the Lions, they drafted Penei Sewell, but that division isn't really tough outside. If the Packers have Aaron Rodgers, then yeah, the Packers are winning the division. But as of right now, I don't think he's playing for the Packers again. So I'm going to say Justin Fields.
Yeah, and I think, that's actually a really great answer. Another thing to add to that to kind of fuel your point is out of all of the rookie quarterbacks, probably Justin Field has the biggest chip on his shoulder just because from where he was projected to where he actually ended up, he kind of dropped and fell. So he has a lot to prove, and he's the type of guy that really takes on that challenge. So that coupled with how in flux that division's going to be, I think Justin Fields is definitely a good pick. For me, I'm kind of going along the same lines as you. I'm looking for which quarterback is going to have the best situation to be able to be successful around them. And, the thing that might separate Justin Fields and my pick might be the division. So you might win on this one. However, for me, I'm looking at a team that already pretty much has talent all around them on both sides of the ball. And my pick is going to be Trey Lance from the 49ers. And the reason for that is I think Trey Lance is going to inherit a really good running game because the 49ers, along with picking up Trey, did a lot to bulk up that offensive line and that running game. And that's always going to be a quarterback's best friend, is going to be having a really strong running game. He has two pretty elite weapons on the outside with just receivers and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuels, along with one of the best tight ends in the league, if not the best tight end in the league, with George Kittle. And then also with that, they're bringing back everybody on defense that helped them with having a top 5 defense. So you're talking about a rookie quarterback that's going to have one of the best running games in the league, one of the best defenses in the league, along with weapons on the outside and at tight end. Not to mention, I didn't even mention Kyle Shanahan, which is, the offensive genius that's going to give him the best opportunity to scheme up plays for him. So I'm going with Trey Lance. I don't think necessarily Trey Lance is going to have like a huge numbers season per se, but based off of your categorization, I think he's going to have a chance to win a lot of games. I think he's going to have a chance to take this team to the playoffs. And by that time, really be able to move into a position where maybe even make a playoff run as well. What do you think about Trey Lance being that pick?
Now, I would have said Trey Lance. I would have agreed with you. The only thing is that NFC West is tough. All
Right.
four teams are in playoff contention just based off rosters. All four. Russ is going to give you 10+ wins per season. He's going to take you to the playoffs. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay added Matthew Stafford, and you have that defense. That defense outside of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey isn't that good, but Aaron Donald covers the Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey cover half the field, and the other half of the field you have to worry about. But Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey are one of the best. They're the best players in their position. So
Right.
so the Rams, obviously Matthew Stafford and that team, and then the Cardinals, they added J.J. Watt, A.J. Green. If that team could just click, they're also a playoff team. So the thing about Trey Lance is that I would have said Trey Lance is just that NFC West is too tough. And as of right now, I still feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start Week 1. And I don't know. The only way I see Jimmy Garoppolo not playing starting quarterback is if he plays absolutely horrible or he gets injured. Otherwise, I don't see Trey Lance starting year 1. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, and I mean that is definitely a big question mark. We have to wait and see in camp to see if Trey Lance even gets an opportunity to start. But if he does start, I agree with your points. Obviously, the NFC West is a lot more difficult than Justin Fields' division. However, the 49ers are also playing the fourth place schedule in the NFC, so they're outside of the NFC West. Competition is extremely easy. So I still think even if he can manage to split all the games in the NFC West, he could still be a double-digit winning quarterback in his first rookie year, which I think would be, a huge success. Doesn't happen very often.